Welcome to the Author's Edge radio show with Guy L. Freer. Each week on their show, they help authors create books that transform our lives and imaginations. Through radio excellence, they create a unique community resource, one that promotes, connects, and fosters a sense of well-being. They serve listeners by providing outlets for their creative skills and energies, and they help them flourish in the competitive marketplace. Their weekly show provides intros, writing spotlights, helps you in promoting your book, your writing, your publishing, your marketing tidbits, and much more. Okay, audience, here's the Author's Edge radio show with Guy L. Freer.
Welcome to Author's Edge Show. Join us for lively conversations with writers, publishers, songwriters, illustrators, and artists diving into the art of storytelling. Catch us every Saturday at 8 a.m. and Sunday at 7 a.m. on KWRH FM 92.9 and KXOK FM 102.9, or stream online at KXOK929.com, KWRH929.com, and via free apps, iHeartRadio, Odyssey, and TuneIn. The show also airs nationwide Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. on My Genre Radio Network. Missed an episode? Find us anytime on SoundCloud, YouTube, or authorsedge.org. Now that's authorsedge.org. Now, every once in a while comes along someone whose biography reads equal parts resume and comedy routine. Today's author has dabbled in labs, dug dinosaurs exactly once, applied to grad school more times than most of us have applied for credit cards, and somehow turned all of that into science fiction adventure. Let me introduce you to Ryan Cobb. Ryan Cobb is a new sci-fi author with no particular expertise whatsoever. A true jack of all trades, master of none. He has worked in multiple laboratories, dug dinosaurs alongside actual paleontologists just once, gone to too many schools, and proudly earned a degree in biology from the University of Missouri. He even tried to get into graduate school to become an actual science in no less than 6 completely different fields, mind you. But that didn't exactly pan out, now did it? On top of that professional, quote-unquote, experience, he has spent countless hours Googling all kinds of interesting topics that his friends warned him not to Google. This is per him. Fortunately for readers, he poured much of that useless knowledge into his first book, The Wild Shores of Pangaea. And there's been much discussion about whether it's Pangaea or Pangaea or Pangaea, but we're going to go with Pangaea, in an effort to bring the joy of impractical knowledge to the world. So, welcome, Ryan.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
And I also want to welcome my wonderful husband, who's also my driver, the wonderful Mark, who makes sure that my show stays on the air. And I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for him. Fame and fortune. But Ryan, your path to becoming an author is anything but traditional, right?
Yes, that is correct.
So I want to know all about your, also in researching for this book, you know more about submarines than you ever expected to learn.
Yes, very specific submarines.
Very specific or not just any submarine.
Not all subs, just
not all subs,
very
just
old
very,
ones.
very old ones. Okay. You did the Triassic period, not the Jurassic, but the Triassic. And that, which is also interesting because I know a lot about Jurassic, but I don't know much about Triassic. Right?
That's why I chose that one. I kind of wanted to pick a time period that people are a little less familiar with, has a little more unusual dinosaurs and prehistoric animals, and the Triassic
we're going to talk a lot more about Triassic. Yeah. But you call yourself a jack of all trades and master of none.
Yes.
How has that shaped you?
How has it shaped me? Well, it just means that I have a lot of interests, and I'm not really, like I said, an expert in anything. So I know lots of little fun facts, but I couldn't really go into details.
So are you like a
about
Sheldon?
Well, probably. Yeah, that's a pretty accurate description. Yeah. Lacking social.
No. So Sheldon doesn't. Well, yeah, he does.
Yeah.
No, never mind. Okay. So what first drew you to science?
I mean, I've always been interested in science. Probably the Discovery Channel, just watching all those science shows and just learning all the diverse
Dr.
stuff.
Nye? Is that not
Bill Nye?
Bill Nye?
Yeah, Bill Nye. Well, yeah, I guess he's.
Yeah,
I guess
Bill
he has
Nye,
an
the
honorary
science
doctorate.
guy?
Yeah, I think. Yes. Yeah, he's fun. I watched a little bit of him. It was more kind of documentaries, I think, than his kind of stuff. But yeah, so I did that, and then I would occasionally just take a science class in amongst other classes, and I'd be like, "Oh, that one was pretty fun." So I would go in that direction more, and then I started taking more science. And then I was like, you know what? Let's just go all science. That's kind of
Let's
fun.
just do the science. Let's just do the science.
And animals too. That's a big one that drew me into it. Like I've always had a lot of pets, and so learning about animals.
So you have pets now?
We do. We have 2 cats. They don't get along just yet, but hopefully soon. But
Dogs?
Mostly, no dogs. Mostly when I was growing up, though, we had all kinds of animals. We had guinea pigs and lizards. They're warm-blooded. Lizards, snakes. I've had birds. So. Birds are dinosaurs, yeah. So yeah, I've had some pet dinosaurs.
And snakes are dinosaurs too, aren't they?
I don't think they are on the same lineage. I can't remember. I mean, they're related. I think they were pretty far back on the evolutionary diversion. I think that was.
Oh.
I think they split off before the dinosaurs.
Oh, did they?
Maybe. I can't.
What a shame.
Yeah, that's not a problem. They're all
what was
different.
the dinosaur dig like?
It was fun. It was.
So, all right, tell me, where was it?
Either in South Dakota or Montana. We were like kind of right on the border around there.
Okay.
Or North Dakota. I can't remember. It was one of the Dakotas. And I think we stayed in one state and dug in the other state. And it was with a group called the Marmarth Research Foundation.
The what?
Marmarth, which is the name of the town, the Research Foundation. And I learned about them through, it was a book called The Grave Secrets of the Dinosaurs. And it was all about an Edmontosaurus that they actually found skin impressions of.
And when was this?
2012, a little while ago.
Okay. And what did you find?
We found some interesting, just like little bones here and there. We also did discover a Torosaurus, though, which that was really neat, which is basically like a Triceratops. Some people think they're the same species. They're not.
Okay.
But yeah, we found the frill of that when I was kind of at the end of my trip there. One of the Yale students who worked with the group discovered that, and so we were digging through it, and then we had the Discovery Channel or one of those channels show up, and we had to reenact uncovering the dinosaur bones that we found. So that was fun.
Well, okay. My husband and I lived in Key West, Florida. Okay. And our next door neighbor, remember Sue?
Yes.
Okay. Sue. All right. Our next door neighbor had a friend named Sue. She was also a paleontologist, and she discovered the dinosaur Sue.
I was wondering about that. The T-Rex, the
T-Rex.
famous one in
And
Chicago.
the famous one.
Named it after her. Yeah.
And they named it.
Of...
She was Sue. She discovered Sue, and that was pretty amazing.
Big fights over that fossil, I think.
Yeah, there was huge fights over that one, but. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you about what it was like, because she had told, I remember we're talking 20 years ago. So my memory is a little foggy.
Well, I don't know how much paleontology's methods have changed.
Right. But anyway, so
it's usually shovels and shovels and
shovels
tiny
and
knives.
Yeah, and right. But anyway, she had discovered Sue. And I thought it was really fascinating, the whole idea of discovering these dinosaurs and whatnot. So
Sue's a really interesting fossil. If you go look at I think it's in the Field Museum, or it was the last time I was up there, you can see along her bones of the jaw, you can see a bunch of little holes, and I think those are a sign of a disease that she actually has.
Oh,
Osteopathy, I think, is the term for that. But that's one of my favorite things when I go to museums is to look and be like, look, you can see that its bone was broken and rehealed, so it lived after that, or it didn't reheal, and that's what got it. But there's a lot you can learn from fossils.
oh, absolutely.
But not everything, which is why, the dream would be to go back and see them alive.
Well, that is what's so fascinating about Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's something that, they keep making the movie over and over and over and over again, is that whole concept of what it would be like to have dinosaurs live among us, quote unquote.
Well, and in Jurassic Park, one of my favorite aspects of that one is the things you didn't necessarily know you were going to find based on skeletal remains. And people will say to no end that there's no way this could have happened, but the Dilophosaurus, when it spits at them, having venom or something like that is something that wouldn't be preserved necessarily in hard fossilization like bones. I mean, that specific instance, they say it would have had, venom things coming out of its fangs or something like that. But I think there's a lot of stuff that if you were to see dinosaurs alive, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that's what that's what coloration it was, or that's, poisons, things like just all the soft tissue stuff is the stuff that's harder to know when you're just digging. But
yeah, but it's also kind of fun with the imagination.
Oh yeah.
And I think that there could be, there is a path to looking at what animals are like today and just pathing it back, that there's a logic, that there's a sense of logic that could be used.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of what I did.
That there's reasonable logic.
Yeah, a lot of what I did when I was trying to imagine the behaviors of dinosaurs in the book, and also non-dinosaur animals. So I gotta be specific. Is you look at modern animals and you go, okay, something that lives in this ecological niche behaves this way for very good reasons. Like something that lives near the shore but eats fish will kind of behave like a seagull probably, or something else that lives near the shore and eats fish.
It's using a bit of logic and whatnot, I think is reasonable. So now looking back at your grad school journey, I'm curious about the number of times that you applied to schools in different science fields.
Yeah, well, so that I'm just gonna
couldn't make up your mind.
I couldn't make up my mind.
One from column A, two from column B. Is that what we were doing?
Well, it was a little bit also that you have to get into a lab when you're going into grad school. You have to get into a lab as part of the program, and you're doing research in that lab. And most of the professors I talked to didn't have spaces in their labs, so that's why I ended up being I guess I can't go into that. And then I would take a little break and I'd be maybe this other field would be interesting. And so I thought about marine biology originally. I wanted to study the oceans. I thought about microbiology because I'm a germaphobe and microbes interest me and scare me, and I want to learn about them. And yeah, that's one of the other labs I worked in, is microbiology lab. So I had a little experience with that, and paleontology I thought would be really fun to go into. What else did I want? Oh, astrobiology, learning about life on other planets we haven't discovered yet, but basically trying to figure out where things we know on Earth can live in extreme environments, because to kind of extrapolate. I've always
thought that it's awfully presumptuous of us to believe that we are the only species out there.
Well, I don't think anyone believes that. It's not that you believe there's nothing else out there. It's that we don't have any evidence that there is anything yet.
It's got to be something else out there.
I'm sure there is, yeah. And, just because you don't have proof of something.
And besides, I love Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek is fun.
And Star Trek and Star Wars. I'm and I'm always fascinated by just thinking about what could be out there.
Oh, yeah. The what coulds are what drives science fiction writers.
Yeah. I happen to be a big science fiction person. Okay.
But you probably know that Star Wars is more fantasy than sci-fi.
Please don't say that to me.
It's got space magic. Come on.
Oh, come on.
It's great, but it's not pure sci-fi.
It could be. No, don't take my dream away.
What is not? I'm not saying it's not good. I love Star Wars. It's one of my favorite franchises.
Don't do that. Okay. So, what surprising discoveries from your research stick with you?
Oh, surprising discoveries. Dinosaurs or submarines? What kind of?
I don't know. You tell me. You wrote the
Well,
book.
I did write the book. Yeah, you're right. I think learning a lot about some of the more unusual things. There's one called Lissawischia. Oh, I have no idea how to pronounce some of these things. Sorry.
We're going back to
But it's,
Pangea.
Back to Pangea. I don't know. I hope I'm saying that right. If not, people are gonna be like, I'm not gonna buy this book. That guy didn't even know how to pronounce the title. But there's a thing called Lissawischia, maybe. It is a large, it's not a dinosaur. It's more of I think it's an ancestor of mammals, but it was basically elephant sized. It had kind of like tusky looking things on the front of it. They know, I think, that it had kind of like rough pebbles on its skin. I think they found impressions of that, or maybe I'm thinking of a dinosaur. I don't know. But this is what I think of it. But just, like things like that where you're like, oh, that was really big and people don't really know tons about them. And, like, what did they do in their time? Like,
And it's from the Triassic period.
That was from the Triassic. Yes.
When was the Triassic period?
Oh, you're going to make me bring up numbers. 200, I think it was 200. Well, so it was the first period of the dinosaurs.
Okay.
I can tell you that much. I think it was like 240 to 200 million years, maybe.
As long as we've got a, it was before Jurassic.
It's Jurassic, Cretaceous, going towards the modern era. So.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's why some of the weirder things are there, because they're the oldest ones, so they don't have as many fossils we've discovered because it was so long ago.
Okay. How does science influence your fiction?
It is my fiction. Without science, I mean, I wouldn't know. Without science, we wouldn't know anything about dinosaurs. We wouldn't necessarily have submarine. Oh, that's more technology than science, but there's a lot of scientific principles behind how submarines work, things like that. Theoretical science is where the idea of time travel comes from. So, yeah, without science, there is no Wild Shores of Pangea.
All right. You are listening to Author's Edge, where stories and storytellers meet every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. and Sunday morning at 7 a.m. on KWRH929.com and KXOK102.com. And we are chatting with Ryan Cobb, author of The Wild Shores of Pangea. So, Ryan, from biology labs to submarines and dinosaurs, this book feels like you spun a wheel of chaos and science. You like that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about The Wild Shores of Pangea and how it all came about. Sci-fi with dinosaurs and submarines. Did you just spin a wheel of cool words to pick up their plot?
That might have been what happened. It's very possible. But so I guess the real way that the submarine stuff came about, I was working in a lab that had, let's just say, older technology. And the idea is it's cheap, but it still works great. So we had, we had this centrifuge. It looked like it came from World War II. Like you look at it, you close it, it's just a loud metallic thunk and it spins up. You think it's going to explode, but it works. And so I kind of like the idea of old technology still being used for modern science. And then, I got lost in the question. But,
you're telling me how sci-fi with dinosaurs and submarines
just how
came
the whole
about.
thing came about. Yeah, so dinosaurs is that's just a passion I've always had. Jurassic Park was one of my favorite books, and then movies. I remember when I was a little kid, I used to have a bag full of, I think, 50 different little plastic dinosaurs, and I would just walk around, and my mom would ask me to name them. I could name every single one in there, and she was like, "Oh, well, at least he's got interests."
Our son was also very much into dinosaurs. Okay. And for 1 year for Christmas, our daughter gave him what was it?
I think it's a velociraptor.
A velociraptor.
Puppet.
It was a puppet, but it was rubber.
Mm.
And he would put his hand in it and he would go like this, and he would attack everybody.
Yeah, that's kind of what I did. That sort of stuff.
And
I would run around and I would hold my hands like Velociraptor hands.
Yes,
and run around.
yes, he did the same thing. Oh my goodness gracious! I can remember this.
They're from the same generation. Ryan, how old are you?
Just turned 40. So
Okay, he's 35.
yeah, not too far.
Same,
Yeah.
Close.
Close enough. Close enough for government work.
Mhm.
What part of Jurassic period absolutely begged to be turned into fiction?
The latter part, because the way that I kind of chose the time period, because it's a very long period, the Jurassic, it's hundreds of millions of years, I think. At least millions, if not. But
Okay.
the latter part is the one we know kind of more about, and I specifically chose the 1 million year range because there were a lot of fossils of pterosaurs found in Germany or Switzerland, somewhere in Europe, in kind of the same area. And so we kind of know a lot about that very specific ecology
Mhm.
of that time period. Like we have, 16 different species of pterosaur. We know they all kind of lived at the same time, probably interacted in ways like, different birds today do. So I was like, oh, well, that's a good start. And a lot of my favorite pterosaurs are in there too. So I was like, well, we could, what else is there? And so I looked in and, found a lot more other interesting animals also lived that time period. And I was like, all right, yeah, let's go for that.
Okay, so now on the front of the book, who's he?
That's a Coelophysis, which is, they were kind of one of the top predators at that time period. They were,
Because he looks like he's from the Jurassic Park.
well,
Variety.
dinosaurs all kind of evolved. Like, there are a lot of lineages evolved from other ones, so they do have similar body plans. Like, so that's a basic theropod, which is the two-legged meat-eating one.
Mhm.
Coelophysis was they think they were very like kind of skinny, and they had like long, slender necks, kind of like snake-like necks almost. And they were, I think, jackal-sized, so they weren't humongous, but
They don't look very friendly, I'll tell you.
No, they probably weren't very friendly.
No. Oh. Did the dinosaurs thank you for representation, or are they still upset about the extinction?
I had nothing to do with that. They were the ones who decided to stand under the meteor.
If your book were adopted for the screen, who would you cast as submarine number 1?
A submarine number?
Yeah. No?
Or like the character or the submarine?
Beth or Julia?
No, for the character. That's not a good question.
I don't know who submarine number 1 would
Yeah,
be.
no, for your character, what was it? Beth.
Oh, Beth.
Right.
I don't want to answer that question because my process is to pick actors and actresses and use them as my inspiration. Like, I have them in my mind. So if I tell you who I would cast, you'd all be like, I know who he was writing for that for.
Okay.
I do have some very specific actors and actresses though, because I kind of, I would watch a TV show like Parks and Rec or Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I enjoy characters, and I'd be like, you would make a really good pilot, or you would make a really good paleontologist. So I would keep that secret. Sorry.
How much of the book is science fact, and how much is it Ryan Cobb After Midnight with Google?
Oh, it's all 100% of both of those. So I tried to keep things as scientifically factual as possible. Like the submarine, I did lots of research to try and make sure it was very much how that specific sub would have felt. I made a blueprint, which is that giant rolled up tube over there.
Oh, well, maybe we'll take that out.
Okay.
We'll show that.
Can you take that right now?
No, not right now.
Okay, take it
In a
later.
minute. Because
Okay.
in a minute we're going to go to commercial.
Okay.
But keep going.
And like I said, I tried to research as much as I could about every animal in the book to try and see, what kind of ecological niche would they be in? Were they carnivores? Did they eat fish? Did they, all that kind of stuff. So the only real made up completely stuff is the time travel aspect of it, of how one goes back in time and space, really. But that's kind of any time travel story. You just have to make that up because we don't know how to go back yet.
Right. All right. So this show is sponsored by Kenita Taylor, author of Dead Fed Said, available in paperback, Kindle, and Kindle Unlimited. Want to join Kenita in supporting Author's Edge? Become a show sponsor and connect with passionate readers and industry insiders while helping us spotlight great stories and creators. Why sponsor Author's Edge? Reach thousands of book lovers, boost visibility and sales, target meaningful support, trusted host endorsements. If you like to be sponsored, call 573-714-1352, and let's chat about how we can feature you on Author's Edge, where authors and readers meet. Also, if you're in Missouri, here's another great opportunity to consider joining the Missouri Writers Guild, a statewide network founded in 1915 that supports writers through workshops, conferences, and contests, local chapters, and professional resources. Members gain access to a strong literary community and tools to grow their craft. Joining is easy. Just visit MissouriWritersGuild.org and sign up online. And now we will go to commercial break. Da 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 da.
El Potro Restaurant and Market, located at 6920 Manchester Avenue, 1 block east of McCausland, offers the finest variety of Mexican and Central American groceries and goods. El Potro Restaurant serves authentic Mexican and Central American cuisine, including daily specials, not to mention the best horchata and tastiest margaritas in St. Louis. Open 7 days a week. El Potro, 6920 Manchester Avenue, 1 block east of McCausland.
Merton Services is a heating, air conditioning, and commercial refrigeration business that's been providing exceptional services in St. Louis for over 50 years, and they take pride in providing services and comfort to both residential and commercial customers. With the temperatures rising in the summer and dropping in the winter, your comfort and health can be put in jeopardy. With proper checks and maintenance, Mertens will keep your equipment in top shape. And when it's time to replace your furnace or your air conditioner, they've got you covered. With a wide range of options, Mertens has the perfect HVAC system to fit all of your needs. To find out how the good folks at Mertens Services can help you with all of your HVAC needs, contact Mertens Services at 314-845-1500. That's 314-845-1500. Mertens Services, 314-845-1500.
Jewels on Hampton in St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks, sports memorabilia, and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa. Call them at 314-752-5000. 314-752-5000. Jewels on Hampton.
And we are back. This is Author's Edge on KXOK 102.9 FM and KWRH 929 FM. I am Gail Freer, and today's guest is Ryan Cobb, who is taking us back, way back to the Triassic in his debut novel, The Wild Shores of Pangaea. And now Ryan is going to tell us how he wrote this book and what it's about. Because my husband, the driver, has been asking him a gazillion questions while we were on break. So now Ryan is going to answer all those gazillion questions.
Yeah. Which one would you like to start with?
What is the book
what it's
about?
So the book is basically, the premise is if someone discovers time travel and for some reason they can't go back in the recent past to change things, which I go into why they can't do that in the book, what would be a good use of that technology? So they come up with the idea of going back to study prehistoric animals a long, long time ago. So they hire a crew of Navy sailors to to captain their submarine. I know I did a lot of research about submarines. I still don't know all the terms. To run the submarine,
Okay.
they have to have people working the engines, people doing the plane, the
do
diving
all these
planes.
guys know that they're going back in time?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that'd be kind of hard to convince someone to get on a sub and say, we're going somewhere. Don't
know where, but
don't
we're
know
going
where.
somewhere.
I mean, I guess you could, but they like to get off the ship every now and then. So
Party with the dinosaurs. Yeah, okay.
so they know where they're going. But she's got a team of scientists in various different fields. She's got microbiologists, botanists who study plants, entomologists who study bugs. Just every different kind of group of animals they could be interested in. They have someone who specializes in a version of that. Also plants too. There's a botanist.
So they all want to go back in time.
Who wouldn't? I mean, okay,
Well-
I guess a lot of people probably wouldn't. It's scary. It's dangerous.
Well, going back to Triassic period might not be something that they would want to do. I mean, there are time periods that you would want to go back to. Okay. And then there are time periods where you're like, I don't know if I really want to go back because shopping is not going to be something I can do.
Yeah, the medieval, not really.
Yeah,
my cup of tea.
The bubonic plague is not my cup of tea. No. So everybody's wanting to go back.
Mhm.
And the whole point is to go back.
Yes.
And so what happens?
I don't know how much detail I should go into. I don't want to spoil the whole book.
No.
So basically, what happens is
little bit.
everything that goes wrong, everything that could go wrong does go wrong, and that's kind of the idea
So
here.
the
is-
submarine doesn't function properly.
Oh no, it's a very old, rusty submarine. Like I said, it's from World War. I think I said it's from World War II.
And they get attacked by the dinosaurs.
Sort of. Yeah. I mean, it's not like a vicious, gory attack kind of
No,
book, but they, it's like if you were to go to a jungle, a cheetah's gonna probably give you a little trouble. You just gotta know how to handle them. So
do they get back?
that's a bit of a spoiler. If they,
Okay. Maybe.
but then if I don't tell you if they get back, then you don't know if there's a sequel, and I do intend to write a sequel, so they get back. It's fine. We can spoil that.
Okay. All right. So do they look? What is their expectation? What is their goal and expectation?
Well, their goal is to study the things you can't learn about dinosaurs and prehistoric animals from fossils. So all the soft tissue stuff, like what color they were, did they have poisons, did they have so also with fat reserves. So things might look a lot different than they would in a skeleton. If you look at like a buffalo skeleton, you won't necessarily, I think that's one, but you won't necessarily see the real shape of it. A hippo skeleton looks very different than a hippopotamus.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things you wouldn't know until you see a living version of the animal. They also want to look for like phylogeny, which is the study of how things relate to other things. So if you can get a DNA sample of several different animals, you can see exactly how closely related they are to other animals. So you can build up kind of a tree of life. So that's a pretty big thing they're looking for too.
What are some of the themes that you have going on? And I mean, like there are some morals going on in this thing. Is there some messages?
Well, themes. That's always the part that I didn't think about. I just wanted people to run around with dinosaurs. No, I mean there's themes of
what do you
loss.
want the reader to walk away with? Besides, I mean, yes, it's going to be a lot of fun to read the book. No question about that. No, I really, I mean, I'm intrigued. But what do you want the reader to walk away with?
I mean, I'd like them to know a little bit more about a really weird period of time. I'd like them to connect the characters because all the characters have their own motivations for why they behave the way they do, why they want to use time machines, and it's not just that everybody wants to go see dinosaurs. Some people have other motives, which is in the book and
might be a spoiler.
That might be a spoiler.
Okay. So do you outline like a scientist or do you wing it like a mad inventor?
I wing it like a mad inventor. I've been called a mad inventor before. I
think I could have answered that question without having answered because you did that to me.
Yeah, I was working in a lab once and they told me they got a gene sequencer and I was like, ooh, I want to play with it. And then they were like, if you get anywhere near that gene sequencer, you're going to like end the world. You're not going anywhere near that. Trust me.
Did you ever think mid-draft, this is too weird even for me?
No, it's not too weird. I mean, I'm weird, so it'd have to be real weird for me, but it's it's not really weird. It's if you think of like a nature documentary where they go out to some jungle and explore, it's kind of like that where things that happen, you're like, ooh, that's not great, but we should have probably seen that coming. So
okay. I buy it. How many times did you spell check Ichthyosaurus?
Oh, my dictionary on my computer is just full of dinosaurs at this point.
So it was not bad, huh?
No, I mean, well, you have to you figure out the right name for sure, and then you add it to your dictionary, and then it knows what it's doing. But how many times did I misspell it, and the computer had to fix it? That's different,
Do you write best in silence or with the imagined ping of sonar in your head?
No, neither. So I actually use Ambient Mixer, which is an app that you can go online and you can create sound background or like sound soundscapes. So I have actually made specific soundscapes for the scenes that I'm working on. So I made one that sounds like a World War II submarine. So it's got like little drips of water. It's got the diesel engines. It's got all that kind of stuff.
Goodness.
And then I made a Triassic jungle one where it's got like it doesn't have birds, but it has like insects and waves and all that stuff. Yeah. So whatever scene I'm writing, I try and really have at least the audio escape available to me.
That is super cool.
It's very helpful.
I like that. I really do. If let's see, if Google suddenly went down, would your writing routine survive?
Sure, it would survive. I just have to go to the library a ton. I would never be home anymore.
Oh, what's your writing snack? And does it go well with dinosaurs?
Writing snack? I mean, if it was chicken nuggets, it would be pretty appropriate, but I think I usually prefer Chex Mix or something crunchy when I'm writing.
Triceratops jerky.
There you go.
Okay, you gave me a quote. Let me see. You gave me a quote. Let's see. All right. Here's the quote. "You're going to get us all killed," said the anchor. "Someone's going to get eaten by some prehistoric beast or catch some nameless disease, or maybe that old submarine you bought will just spring a leak and drag us all down to the bottom of the Mesozoic. Yeah, I can't even see what I'm written here. Of the Mesozoic Ocean. No. You're not going to stop me," Beth said to the anchor. She turned on the faucet to wash her face. "It's going to be great. We're going to make history. We're going to see things nobody has ever seen. Do you want their blood on your hands?" Tell me about that. Tell me why you picked that quote.
So that's some of the internal struggles of Beth. Beth is she faces a lot of anxiety. Like that's her kind of it's her kryptonite, I guess you could say. But she's always worried that she's not good enough or she hasn't thought things through enough. And so the anchor is just her internal monologue that tells her you're not good enough. And so, okay. And I thought the name of the anchor was appropriate because it's a submarine in the book, but but it weighs her down.
Okay.
Even though an anchor is supposed to be a good thing.
So she's having this conversation with herself.
Yeah, she's looking in the mirror and she's just stressed about she's worried she's going to get everyone killed, but she knows that she's taking precautions and everyone knows the risks.
Okay.
She has to work her way through it.
What does Beth's voice reveal about how you shape the character's motivation?
I mean, I guess that's a tough one. Well, I mean, it shows that she's a very logical person, and even if she has anxieties and worries, she can reason her way into knowing that she is doing the right thing, but she's still going to have those doubts.
Blood on your hands. Is that supposed to? Is that foreshadowing? Is that hinting? What are we doing with that? Blood on your hands.
Well, come on, you're going back in time to when there's dinosaurs. You're worried that someone's going to get eaten, and there's going to be blood everywhere. There's not in the book, but if you go back in time, we've all seen Jurassic Park. It's gory, it's violent. We're all scared of that.
So let me ask you this. All right. When writing this scene, did you imagine yourself siding with Beth or the anchor?
Beth. I mean, I personally relate to her having that anchor a lot. I always have my doubts, and
you have your doubts when you wrote this book?
I did, yeah, sure.
Yeah?
I mean, the whole time you're working and you're writing a book and you're wondering, oh, who's going to want to read this? How do I market it? Which I still don't know 2 years later. Who's gonna pick it up, and will anyone publish it? Filled with doubts, but you got to work through them, and you got to keep telling yourself, I will make the best of what I have, and I will deal with that problem when I get to it.
Is this okay for kids?
So this specific version is not great for kids. There's swearing, there's things like that. But my friends who we hang out with every weekend, have a kid who is 12. I believe they said she is 12. I'm terrible with kids' ages. I'm sorry. And I made a version that basically I just kind of took out the swear words and the cigarette smoking, and like there's nothing really horrible, but it's like that kind of stuff where it's just not quite kid friendly. I took that out and replaced
Slightly
it.
inappropriate.
Yeah, slightly inappropriate. So I replaced that stuff and made kind of a kid friendly version of it.
Uh-huh.
So it is available I don't think it's up on Amazon yet, but I do have that, like the whole manuscript written up, kid friendly version. And they kind of read through it and they said, oh yeah, this is pretty good. So because it's not a really scary book, it's not actually bloody and gory, as I was talking about everyone being afraid with dinosaur books. It's adventure, it's excitement. Some people get hurt, but it's not like, it's not like in Jurassic Park when a guy gets like disemboweled. That you're not going to see that in this book. You can read this before bed and you'll be okay. You'll sleep. You won't have nightmares.
Why did you choose to write a book?
So my mom kind of guilted me into it.
Your mom?
She did. I love her so much. And she told me one day that she would love to see me publish a book before she dies. And I said, well, now I have to publish a book. Thanks, Mom.
Moms have such wonderful power.
So
I love
wonderful,
it.
yes. But it's good. I'm glad I wrote it. So I thank her for that little guilt trip.
She's still around?
Yes, she's still around. Yeah.
And so she
read it. She enjoyed it. She keeps waiting for the sequel. So.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Mom.
Yes, thank you, Mom.
So why is there a submarine on the cover?
So when I think about time travel, I think about all the nuanced details of how it's going to go wrong. And one of the things I always considered was, so like I'm wearing my DeLorean t-shirt from Back to the Future.
I see that.
If you're driving in a car and you open a wormhole to 1955, what happens if there's a mountain there that they have since excavated? You might just wind up inside a rock, right? So you could fly, and if you open, air to air, you're probably not going to have any issues, but there aren't really good planes you'd have to have a really large cargo plane to take any significant amount of crew with you. It's kind of hard to do, and planes don't necessarily have enough fuel to last for 30 days being somewhere where they don't have fuel. Submarines, however, seem to be the answer, because with a submarine, you're underwater. So if you open the gate between point A and point B and there's pressure difference, worst case, you're going to have some water flowing in or out of that wormhole. You're probably not going to end up in a rock because the ocean is a very big place. Submarines can also hold a lot of crew. Like they can hold, I think this one has like 30 people that they have, including like the scientists and the Navy crew members and all that. And this specific submarine can actually hold an aircraft. It is a World War II. It's a Japanese, I think it was I-19 was the kind of sub that I based it off of. But I specifically chose it because it can hold that aircraft, which you can use for surveying the land when you get there. So it's because, you want to be able to get high and see what's around.
So you have a multifaceted vehicle there.
Yes, it's very, very versatile thing.
Versatile.
Yeah, because, this specific one was designed to go long distances. Like it was designed to basically leave from Japan, swing around and attack America. I want to say it was supposed to swing around South America and attack America from the other coast. But either way, it was designed for long journeys. So maybe not the most comfortable journey, but...
All right. Most stories about time travel involve changing the past and how that affects the present. Is your book filled with this kind of stuff that readers will have to keep track of?
No. So I love time travel stories, but I don't really love changing the past. And then you come back, if you've changed the past, what happened to your world that you left from? It's not that world that you came back to. That's not great, because then, let's say you leave your family in world A, you go back, you change something, come back to world B, your family just thinks you disappeared. So they solve that problem by going back as far as they go, because my thought is if you travel to a period where no one has recorded what has happened, then basically whatever you did back then could have just been the way it already happened, if that makes sense.
No, it does. Actually, there's a short story I used to teach. I wish I could remember the name of it. But the whole premise of it was that they would take these expeditions into the past It was planned. It was something that you would purchase. It was like a vacation
Was it
thing.
a Sound of Thunder?
Yes. That's exactly the story.
That's the greatest name. I was
It's-
so sad that title was already taken because I love that name.
Oh, it's exactly the whole concept was that, and if you went off the path, then you changed everything. You
Mhm.
changed all of what happened.
Mhm.
And so the one person went off the path and killed a butterfly.
Mhm. The butterfly effect, yeah.
It was the butterfly effect, and and having killed that butterfly changed the future, and the future was devastating
Mhm.
from that one thing that triggered a whole series of events. But that's why I love that particular question,
Mhm.
because that whole idea of changing when you go back in time, and then there are those that try to go back in time with the distinct purpose of changing the past because there's something in the future that has happened
Mhm.
that they want to change, like the death of a loved one,
Yeah.
where they want that death to change.
Mhm.
But changing the death of that loved one changes everything else that happens after
Mhm.
that, and it often is not to their liking either.
Mhm. Yeah. That's I think the Time Machine by H.G. Wells. That might have just been the movie that I'm thinking of. I don't remember how different the book was from it, but like, yeah, he goes and he tries to save his wife, and every time he tries to save her, it gets worse and worse. Or something
Yeah,
like that.
it does.
So,
And it doesn't turn out well.
no.
I mean, the whole concept of trying to change, fate or what is to be
Mhm.
doesn't always work out the way you want it to be. So that's why it's interesting that you go back in time without the intent of changing anything,
Mhm.
but to discover what is.
Yeah. I mean, not that our reality is perfect, but I like to stay where I meant to be. I don't know.
No, our reality right now is not perfect.
Well,
Okay, and we already said that you are planning a sequel.
yes.
So who helped you with the writing, publishing, the marketing process?
Oh, so I had a few people. I kind of wanted. That was kind of me just wanting to
Thank a few people.
to thank a few people and let people know that even if you do self-publish, it still takes other people helping you out to make a really good book. So my cousin Darcy is a published author who kind of helped me with the whole process of like, how do I write a book? How do I do all that kind of stuff? A girl named Christina Brown did developmental editing for my book. So she kind of worked with me one-on-one and helped me revise things. We cut out a bunch of stuff from the beginning to kind of make it a better pacing. And the whole book, she kind of just helped clean up really. So that was very helpful. I had a lot of beta readers also, people who read the book and kind of gave me some feedback. One person was actually in the Siksika Nation in Canada because one of my characters is it's not Native American. I think it's First Nations in Canada. And I wanted to make sure that was a good representation and that they wouldn't be like offended by his his character. She liked it and she said it was fine though. But it was nice working with her and making sure that I was portraying their people.
You did your research well too.
They did a lot of research, yeah. And then Andrew, I can't think of his last name.
Doty.
There you go. He is helping me with marketing stuff, so he's kind of helping me with the biggest burden of I don't know how to market a book, and that's where I got.
He is
I can write a
wonderful.
book, but yeah.
I just love him. When you began the Wild Shores of Pangea, what guiding vision or questions pulled you through this draft? Doing this.
Just kind of, probably what's the worst that could happen. That's usually that makes it fun, like what's that's the worst that could oh yeah, that happened if that's the worst that could happen. I mean, not like the ship blows up and everybody dies. That's probably the worst that could happen. It's not that bad. At every step of the way, anything that could go wrong kind of does go wrong.
So you said that your mom had asked you to write a book.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, she knew that I was always kind of interested in lots of random topics, and I'm sure she'd probably heard me having this folder of book ideas on my computer, and so she knew that I liked writing. It's not like she just told me, "Oh, go write a book." She was just trying to foster my love of reading and writing, and she didn't want me to just keep putting it off until it's too late. So
she wanted to be around to read it.
She did want to be around to read it, so mission
Good
accomplished.
for mom.
Yeah.
Moms are such great creatures. I'm telling you.
Mhm.
Okay, so the book also balances scientific ideas with momentum. How do you decide how much detail to include without slowing down the story?
Excuse me. That's Christina's job. She
Okay.
tells me it's too slow. Pick up the pace here. And all the people who read it before it was released, like they all kind of
All your
like,
beta
yeah.
readers
My
and
beta readers, my friends who I gave copies to, my mom, everybody who read it, they were like, this part, maybe not quite so much detail. Like, I like to think back that at some point I had a graph included, which was really the research I did on choosing the time period. But it was lining up of all the different dinosaurs and pterosaurs and all that stuff, and their ranges where they lived, and trying to pick which one like lined up with most of them, so that you could get like the largest number of species. So I put that in the book, and people were like, "Cobb, I don't think this needs graphs and charts. Just take that out."
so how did you put humor into it? I mean,
you write something.
I'm sure-
you write something
isn't there-
funny, and then it's just kind of added out. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how to choose when to put humor. I tried to include humor, but basically just you have to kind of see the humor in scenarios, and then you go, what would be a chuckle right there? Because I don't want to make it like
forced.
Yeah, I don't like forced, and
So
comedy
is Beth
is
funny?
Is Beth? Oh, she's so serious. I don't know if she's really funny.
How
Like
about
she's
Julie?
funny. She's funny, kind of in the like, oh, you poor creature, you just made a huge mistake, even though you're so smart. Like she's kind of that sort of humor.
Sarcastic funny.
I don't know if she has the humor herself, or there's humor about the things she does and the way she
Okay.
interacts with things. Julie is pretty funny because she's just kind of a like she doesn't take crap from anyone. she has a very assertive personality, and
Now those are the two main characters.
those are the two main characters.
Is there any
yes.
romance in this?
A little bit. I mean, it's not like a really romantic book, but there are some characters who like each other and things like that. And it's not. I wouldn't call it a sci-fi adventure romance. That's one too many
No.
categories. But people like each other a little bit. There's a little
bit of
yeah.
rom-com.
Even
not
that's a little
really.
far. Not a ton. I mean, there's like someone likes somebody else. Maybe they
Hook up?
Maybe but it's not like an on-scene.
No.
Like you're not gonna have that scene in there. It's just gonna be like fade to black.
Okay. All right.
Not a real romance.
Not a real romance. How much revision did you spend on this? How's the editing part? Do you enjoy the editing? Do you want to do editing? Now I guess maybe.
Enjoy might be a hard word there. I don't know if I would enjoy.
See, he loves the editing.
I did like working with Christina. She was really fun to go back and forth with that. Like if I had to edit on my own, I would hate that, and I'd be like, no, I don't want to do any of this because it's so hard to edit what you wrote, because you think,
yes,
I wrote this, it must be clearly perfect the way it is. Oh wait, I spelled that word wrong. It's hard to really see like, oh yeah, that's maybe not the greatest part. But working with someone else, I think is enjoyable. Like that's a part that I like.
Okay, where can our listeners find you?
It's listed on Amazon right now. I think it's only on Amazon because they have like their exclusive things where you can.
Okay.
So we're trying to get it on Ingram Spark, which is nobody needs to know about that, but bookstores know about that. So hopefully once we get it uploaded to there, you'll be able to find it maybe in Barnes and Noble bookstores, physical bookstores like that.
Ingram
which
Spark is a bear and a half.
Yeah, it's a challenge for sure.
It is.
But I really would like to see it in bookstores because I think that's more fun. Like, I've always loved the idea of walking into a bookstore, picking up a book and going, hey,
I know
this
him.
is a dinosaur. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with that. I really do. If paleontologists pick up your book, are you expecting fan mail, corrections, or both?
Yeah, a little both. I think they'll enjoy it. I tried not to put too many like blatant couldn't happen kind of stuff in there. Like anything that you for sure that's definitely not how it would be, I tried not to do. But things where you're like, that thing might have eaten this, it might have eaten that. Like I took a little liberty, but I tried not to overstep and just go crazy. So
do any of the characters end up being lunch?
I don't think anyone gets eaten in this one. No, nobody gets eaten.
Nobody gets eaten?
I mean, This feels a little spoilery, like you want to go into a book and go, no one dies. What is that? But
Well,
again,
I mean,
it's not a gory story, so I
I know,
think
but we
we
just
can acknowledge that.
yeah, it's not gonna be a gory
nobody
story.
gets eaten.
Nobody
so.
gets eaten. Okay. I needed to know. I just needed to know. If a reader takes only one insight away from the story, what do you hope it is?
That time travel doesn't have to just be used for changing things. Maybe that's a pretty
Okay.
good one. I mean,
I think that's an excellent one.
because a
I
lot
mean,
of scientists,
Sound of Thunder.
Yeah, a lot of scientists do talk about time travel and all this kind of stuff, and I
Mhm.
think that's where people's minds first jump to is like, oh, I could fix all the problems, but
But sometimes it's not wise.
Yeah, it's not, because again, you're leaving everyone in the other universe behind. You've made a branch universe, and now you're there, and maybe there's another version of you that's already in branch universe B, and so now you're just watching from the window, and you're like, oh, I've made a terrible mistake, and I don't know how to fix that.
Or you make yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Well, so how the people can get a hold of you? They would like to get a hold of you
I mean, I'm on Facebook, which is
under
I have-
Ryan Cobb.
I think it's author Ryan Cobb. I didn't look at it. It's Ryan Cobb author or author Ryan Cobb. I also have a website, ryancobb.net. There's a little form if you want to
Okay.
email me a question.
Our website, Ryan Cobb,
ryancobb.net.
ryancobb.net.
Yes, and it's actually
Website.
got a little more information too about some of the animals in the book. If you're like, I can't picture this weird thing. What's
Wonderful. That's really good.
Mhm.
That would help. I think that would help.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ryan, for being on Author's Edge and for bringing us dinosaurs, submarines, and a little too much Google.
Thank you for having
And thank
me.
you to listening and joining us on Author's Edge on KWRH FM 929 and KXOK FM 1029. You can also hear us on iHeartRadio, Odyssey, TuneIn, and at authorsedge.org. Tune in again next week for more tips, resources, and your favorite conversations. Our next guest will be George Jared, and we'll be chatting with him about his writing and his investigative storytelling. Until then, see you around the inkwell.